Hello everyone, Melton here with Century 21 Redwood Realty. This is about a 22-minute video. It's worth listening to. I'm going to cover three things. One is just some of my general thoughts about what's happened to the internet and social media since all this started. Most importantly, the second thing is the results of a flash survey from the Virginia Association of Realtors from the 20th and 21st of March on how this is actually affecting the real estate market. Not surprising information, but great information. And then the third thing is how technology can be used to help you continue on with your plans for housing. And how, with the capabilities that I have, that we have, and how we can still make things happen. So stay tuned. You have plenty of time. You're locked up anyway. Watch all 22 minutes or so and leave me some comments. Bye. Hello everyone, Melton here with Century 21 Redwood Realty, and my grand dog here. This is her spot during the day on the edge of my desk. My daughter's little Yorkie that's hanging out with us for a while. And I wanted to do a video about three things. First is internet information. I know that people beat this to death, but I wanted to say something about it. The other one is a flash survey that was conducted by Virginia Association of Realtors on the 20th and 21st of March. And the questions on the survey were to Virginia realtors and how the real estate business for them personally had been affected by the COVID-19 virus. It's very early, very short survey, only 2 days. And of course, it's just pretty much the first 7 to 10 days of everything that's been going on. So it's just a snapshot in time of some of the data, and it's not surprising to me. It may be to you, but it is a fact, and I wanted to share that with you. And the other thing, the third one, is the capabilities we have during this and how things are going for me and my real estate business, and for my family's title insurance business, the settlement company as well. And the first one on the internet information is, I see every day, and information is just, people are at home, they're cooped up, and some spending even more time on social media, things like that, and things get so wacky out of control. And this is just one of my personal little rants that I wanted to go over, since I was going to do a video anyway. And the first one is if you see anything on the, and I'm not saying that none of you don't already know this, but you do know it, but I'm going to remind you anyway. The first thing is that if you see something that's outrageous on the internet, it's usually BS. What people don't realize, some do, some don't, but it is a fact that there are thousands of operatives in Russia, China, and other countries that their sole job is to use multiple accounts on social media. There are millions of fake accounts on Facebook. Every day, even today, I received a couple of friend requests from people that I was already friends with. It had another friend of mine's picture. They just steal pictures off the internet, and most of these are fake accounts. So one thing you can always do, you get a friend request, is you look at the account. If it's only a bunch of memes and no personal information, and if you don't actually know them, why would you friend that person? Because those are what these operatives do. It's a fact, they exist, and their job is to cause us to fight each other over political issues and anything else that they can get us to fight about. And so another one is that you see these all the time. I run ads and I do a lot of my work on the internet, so I get sucked into some of that every now and then for a little bit. I have to focus to ignore some of the craziness. But one thing is you'll see is, I'll see 20 different people saying, hey, my cousin was in X country and they told me this. And it's some, really bad story that someone obviously or one of the bots, or there's also not just people doing it, they have machines that actually have accounts that are computers that make this up. you know, you get something from 20 different people. You see something from 20 different people, and they all say that their cousin or their friend personally sent them this message to send out to everyone. You know, and I joke with some of the people, man, your friend really gets around because you know, on all these different posts and the things like, hey, it works. If you do this, you can get around the algorithm. But those are all scams, and they all say, please share as far and wide as you can. If you ever see that, don't share as far and wide as you can because, especially with everyone home, we're going to end up shutting down the internet if you do. But, you know, there's just so many scams, and don't be so gullible. And if you're ever wondering about a post, there's this magical website. It's called google.com. I do it all the time. I Google something, I see something ridiculous, I get a giggle out of it. I Google it, the first 20 items on Google says it's all BS. And sometimes, you know, that's just what you have to do. It's better just to keep scrolling, depending on what type of computer you have. Scroll by if you're on your phone. But one thing, though, that, you know, social media is really giving people a hard time, especially now that they don't have the same life they had 2 weeks ago. They're cooped up, and it's really not good for your brain. Now we'll get to the, sorry about that, went probably a little bit longer than it should, but it's something everybody should tell each other. Say, come on, man, it's not true. Or, you know, you can Google the facts and not trust someone who's on the internet that's obsessed with that type of thing. Now, for the survey, the COVID-19 survey that Virginia Association of Realtors did, is very interesting. I said it's not surprising to me, and this is early in the game, and I'm gonna any facts that I find out, I'm gonna share them with people because I want you to know I'm still here, and I want to only deal with facts. So this one was done on March 20th and 21st. I answered the survey, and I can show you where some of them, the categories I fit into. But I'm going to read this so that I don't get the numbers wrong, because it's data. It's not long. It's not complicated, but I don't want to get it incorrect. So the first one is that only 1 out of 5 realtors said that the COVID-19 virus has not affected their business whatsoever. So 1 out of 5 says they've seen no changes because of the virus, period. And you know, that seems reasonable. So that's 19.6% of all the realtors that answered. And one thing I forgot to mention, there was 2,428 realtors answered. So we have a lot more realtors than that in Virginia, but just like anything else, people who are active in the business and care about the business and, you know, care about the data will answer these. Someone who's a part-time, my aunt has a license, you know, people who really don't work in the business usually won't answer the survey. So I'd say this is pretty credible. So 2,428 answered, and these are the percentages. 1 out of 5 said it didn't affect at all. And then this one is for purchasers or buyers that people were working with. More than half, so 56.3 of the members that answered this survey over in the past 7 days is what they did. 20th and 21st, talking about the prior 7 days. They've had a buyer delay their home search directly due to the COVID-19 virus. I've had 2 of those, and it's common sense. It makes sense to me. I would do the exact same thing probably, unless there was a serious reason that was making me make that move, which some people may be in that scenario. But that's a pretty high number. Is the 56.3% of buyers said, hey, I'm just gonna hold off. I worked with a couple of buyers. They just said, you know what, we're just gonna hold off till all this is over. I got the kids home now and everything's going crazy, and we're gonna put it in a holding pattern. Now for the sellers, we had 25.6% had open houses scheduled for their listings, and they decided to cancel those. That makes a lot of sense to me as well. You don't want a bunch of people coming into your home, and remember, this was 7 days, for the 7 days prior to 20 and 21 September. I wish this could be over by then, right? Of March. So, here we are sitting at the 24th. So there's been some serious changes since the end of this survey. We all know that. So 25.6% decided to not have an open house. And this is another one for the sellers. 40.2% said that they had someone say that they were going to postpone putting their home on the market, which it also makes sense. It's trying times. They don't, especially even a few days back, we had no idea where we would be today. And today, we have no idea where we will be next week. Those are the facts. This is something that has never happened in my lifetime, and I'm not the youngest person in this group right now, watching or listening. And that's when you want to sit and make sure that you're making the right decision and see what happens before you do it. But that's a pretty high number. 40.2% of the realtors that answered this said that they had a seller. I had one. We were ready to do the paperwork, really start concentrating on getting the home ready for the market. And they said, not right now. And these people, my clients, fit into a special category because they were in their early 70s, a very high risk group for this virus, and just no sense in making taking those chances. And I agree with them 100%. If we'd have went forward with that, I would have probably felt very uncomfortable, and I definitely did not want to encourage. Not saying that I could convince them, but I would not want to encourage them, with people coming to their home. They're in the high risk part of the population for this virus, and we don't know what's happening yet. So we can do it another time. And we're still getting ready, but we're not going to put it in the MLS and put it on the market yet. So those are the actual numbers. I have them right here. I actually... you'll see I'm going to put up the verbiage and the chart that'll look like this up here on the screen as I talk. Stella's moving around. I think I'm annoying her a little bit. This is all about her right now. But the last thing I want to talk about was the technology and how things have evolved. I know some of you are very high tech, some of you are very low tech, some of you are zero tech. But for many years, this is not something new. A lot of people are scrambling, trying to get ready to use it now. You've seen my videos, but I have a very sophisticated technical system that I've used for many years for video conferencing, signing documents legally. Of course, this is all legal, signing documents electronically. A lot of you have already done that type of thing. And one thing that we can still do if you want to buy or sell, you can still search, get all the information, and maintain social distancing. We didn't ever even have to see each other. Our broker shared yesterday that there's actually been, I think he said 2 cases where someone had actually looked for a home, put a contract on a home, they have a ratified contract, and they're moving forward to closing, and they have never physically been in the house. And I think you'd be surprised as how often that does happen, even before this virus came. Working with people overseas, I had one client in Colorado where we never met. They knew the neighborhood they wanted to move into, and the technology allowed them to see it. And if they find that home, they're going to get it. But we sat down and got on a video conference. They were able to, I share my screen, we go over the contract, all the paperwork, make sure that it's what they want. Then we have them sign it electronically, and we're off to the races. So it's really easy to do. And if you're not high tech, I can help you through it and make it stress free for you. And then there's even things, we're having a conference today. I think I'm actually missing a few minutes of it, but one of the agents that's very experienced with virtual open houses. So just to get some more ideas on how to do open houses virtually. I've done that before though, where I've taken video, narrated, and used FaceTime for not open houses, but showing a home to see certain things, and it works out. You know, if you're comfortable with that, it's definitely easy to do. On the other side too, with my wife's settlement company, we've been able to do this for a long time as well. Is the social distancing and cleaning. One thing that she's doing, I'm just going to share it, and I would say that any reputable settlement company, they're all doing the same thing. They've all got together, and it is common sense. But like with her, and all the other companies I've heard of, they spread out the closings. They're still going on. People are closed on house. We have 4 closings today. My wife does. That I'll be helping out a little bit with is that no 2 clients are allowed even in the office. Period. Anywhere in the office, not even in the front door at a time. So if it's your time to sign as a buyer or a seller, everything is completely disinfected. Before you come in, everyone is disinfected. You know, we have all the hand sanitizers and more chemicals. We're going to have some skin problems when this is over. But, you know, everyone is disinfected. We don't allow anyone to come in that's not part of the closing. This is not a time to bring your children. You know, a lot of time at the closing table, you bring relatives with you to help you celebrate the American dream. At this point, only the people who are signing are allowed to come in, and then everything that's used, you either take even to the detail of taking your pen with you, or we throw it away. Once you leave, it's completely disinfected again. There's a period of time where make sure that all the chemicals work well. Then the next client can come in and sign. And what's really neat, and I think it's going to take off a lot now after this situation, is you can even have e-notary. We've done this for a long time where you're on a video conference, it's recorded, your identity is verified, and you can actually do a closing virtually over a video conference, which in some cases, not too many details, but we did have a case a couple days ago where a seller was pretty much hours within coming in to sign. He had a mild heart attack, they thought, on the road, and was taken to the hospital. At the hospital, he had a low-grade fever. Not panic, but out of caution, they monitored him and made sure he could get the test and all that for COVID-19. He's fine, but ended up to where it not causing any stress. He's not feeling well. You know, he's thinking he may have had a heart attack. They're trying to sell their home. Really bad timing. But they were able to do an e-notary, e-closing, and just eliminate that stress and get it all behind them. So, and that's our companies, and I guarantee you that any reputable company in the entire area can do the same thing. But if you're working with someone else, just call them and have them do that. But this is something we're not learning now just because of this. We've been doing this a very long time. And then another serious issue that causes a lot of stress is, like in the state of Virginia, everyone signs the paper, all that stack of papers, and then it needs to be recorded at the courthouse, and you have 48 hours to do so, and then disperse the money to everyone that's receiving money in the transaction. Well, in Virginia is an e-recording state, so no one has to go stand in line. There's no they can maintain the social distancing. The Supreme Court of Virginia and the governor has said that is a critical function in the state of Virginia and the government. It's ran by county, so every courthouse has to have a way to receive the recordings, and they all use e-recording. So it's so much easier. Everyone signs the paper. It's sent electronically to the courthouse. They authorize it. They stamp it, and it's recorded. And no one's standing in line the old-fashioned way and writing it in the book. So we're getting there. And they have some in Maryland as well, because we work Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. Or I'm sorry, not D.C. anymore, but Maryland and Virginia. And Maryland does the same thing, but it is on a county-by-county basis on the exact procedure. So that can be done. And for me, anything you want to do, like I said, great time to start prepping your home if you want to sell it. One of the critical stores that's allowed to stay open under the governor's order yesterday is home improvement stores. And I hear paint and all that stuff is flying off the shelves. Got that report from somebody yesterday. And it's a good time if you need to paint something, if you need to do it or catch up on things. One of my old jokes is with my wife and family is that I always tell her, and this is good advice for all of you too, is that if I tell my wife that I'm going to do something, something on my list, some home improvement project in the house, I'm absolutely going to do that. There is no reason that you have to remind me every 6 months to get it done. And that's the joke. But now's the time to get all those things off your list, come up with new things. Gardening, I love gardening. My yard's looking awesome this year. And staying busy and catching up on my real estate work. Little things I wanted to do to be able to help you guys more. Didn't have time because I was busy. I've got the time now. I'm catching up on it. So I hope everybody stays safe. Follow the guidelines. Be careful on the internet with all the craziness. You don't need any more stress than we already have. And be safe with your family and friends. It's a unique time. It's not an easy time. I, for one, personally think it's going to last a little bit longer than what people may think, because a lot of people just don't seem to take it serious. But I think yesterday is the first day that I actually, everywhere that I had to go, I stay away from everyone, but I had to get out and do just a couple of things. And yesterday was the first day where every single person that I seen out in public, you could tell they were taking this very serious and practicing the social distancing. Everyone had disinfectant wipes and all those type of things, and that's what it's going to take. But I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just a real estate guy, and but I'm going to follow the rules. So I hope some of this information was helpful. It took up some of my time today, so even if you don't watch it, I already feel productive, so we're good. Anyway, take care, everybody. Love you guys, and I hope you stay safe, and help yourself and help anyone else that you know that might need some help. That's the kind of thing we definitely need to be doing right now. So take care. We'll talk to you later.